So I don't know if you guys have ever came across, any people, especially those that, appear to the world as, senseis, a mentor, or just the older folk and, the very wise people, those who have endured and experienced XYZ, X amount of years, weird hardships in life, a, a discrepancy, anything that's ever hit their specific unique life in a way, and you were just ever so full throttle, kind of meshed and collided into you just colliding and experiencing and just conversating with just any of the folk, aligning yourselves with just this cool person that you're just talking to. I'll never forget this conversation. It's like a conversation that it literally sticks with me till this day. I remember meeting this individual a couple months ago, or I don't want to say, I don't know if it's like a little over a lot of months or just like a few months, but it seems like I met this individual for I think like last year or something. And the only reason why I'm bringing up this conversation is because he reappeared and surfaced into my life again somehow, weirdly. But the first time that I've encountered this person, this sensei in a sense, I'm calling him sensei because he treated me with so much kindness, so much respect. The he it just when you sense like somebody who just loves being around you, or just sense you know feeling your presence in a sense. He felt the presence around me that oh, this individual, like he may possibly do some he no, scratch that, he may possibly, he will do some good things in life. That's kind of like the presence that I felt from this individual. The way he speak, the way his mannerisms, the way he was just around me, just him explaining stories of his pastimes over onto me, which was so beautiful because a lot of people nowadays, they don't really like to share. They don't really like to conversate. Nowadays it's more like a form of, what I'm kind of doing in a sense, like putting up a video for publicly for anybody around the world to see, right? I feel like people are more drawn and intertwined with doing this motion compared to just like physical touch. But past that, let me explain the story again so I don't really forget. But this specific man, if I could if I can just like describe his appearance for you guys, since, or just drop like a visual image of this figure, this person. He walked in, he had like a cool cowboy hat on, right? Similar sitting, I was just out and about. I don't know if I was getting a coffee or something, or I was just like out onto the street, like just in the city or something. But approached me. We had a cool conversations. Oh, okay, wait, let me describe his appearance for you. So he had a cool cowboy hat on, like a really like those Roman kind of beards. Like I was almost I was almost jealous he had that kind of beard in a sense. But I'm not kind of jealous because I low key like to have like a clean cut, Cristiano Ronaldo kind of like silky smooth face, no facial hair. I mean, the only thing is like my mustache, right? But I mean, I guess you can call it a mustache. What is this, like penciled in mustache? I don't know. It's not fake. It's real. Trust me. But I remember like he just had like a cool beard. He had just regular glasses on. He was wearing like one of these like collared shirts, but it was more like a like Hawaiian. I think at the time when we were talking, it was more like spring near summer time, so it's like it was pretty hot outside and such like that. But he was wearing that jaunt with like no nothing, no t-shirt underneath. It's kind of crazy work. His hairy chest was kind of like speaking to me, even though wait, pause. I was not looking at his chest, dude. But or me, I might have been looking at his chest, but it was weird because like he had the hairs like sticking out from the thing, and it was like that scene from the Austin Powers, when Austin Powers was just like looking at this guy he was speaking to, but his mole was just like, it was so like foul and like disgusting and like just too rounded big, like the size of a meatball. um he just was look I was just, how Austin Powers was just looking at that guy, like, just the words were not flying through his ears. He's just staring at that mole. That's how I was just staring at this guy's like low-key chest. But he wasn't fit or nothing like that. He was kind of, you know how senseis be like, they looking like the little, be looking like the sensei from Teenage Mutant Ninja. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. We just had some cool conversations, and he was just really intrigued about like my life, his life as well. I was just really drawn to the conversation, and I'm like, okay, I don't really like to have conversations from the get go, but I am a pretty good, well-rounded individual. If you were to come up to me and like have a cool talk, I'll talk to you for like hours on end about the most randomest stuff, about like Jeffrey Weinstein or something, or Jeffrey Einstein or something. But so fast forward, we were just talking. Um, he was talking about his life. So he asked me about my age too. Before we get into his life, he asked me about my age too. And he was like, "Oh, you're like a, you're a young punk. Like you still have a lot of life left of you." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Because in my head, I'm like, dude, recently I was called an unk, like last video. This dude is saying like I'm a young punk. So what am I? There's no in between. Like, am I an unk, or am I old, or am I young or something? I hate when people do that to me. It just messes with my psyche, my brain, my consciousness, the way I tap into life. So he called me like, "Oh, you're a young punk. You're a young punk." Like and such like that. And then talking, he was just really interested about what I was doing. Same thing. I was just interested about his stories, his way of storytelling, his way of what he's seen in life. Dude, this guy was, I don't know if people can be capping, but this guy seemed like, I mean, he was really prevalent in the 70s era through, and then like the mid 80s era, right? So his time, when I'm 20 right now, right? Or 2023 right now. So he was saying like he was 20 around like in 1970 and such like that. He was really youthful looking though. Like he looked like he took care of himself really, really, really wisely and such. But later on trickled into certain words, uh, how he mentioned like, oh, your parents, they 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 raised you right in a sense. And those kind of words, like he said something along the lines of that, like your parents, they raised you right. Um, and freaking forgot. You said something else where it's like they should expect something from you. Like, um, uh, are you seeing anybody? Like, he was basically saying like, are you, seeing someone? Are you planning on having, children in the future? And I really pondered that question. It's like, yeah, I'd love to have, a set of beautiful children with, a loving partner by my side and such, right? The one of whom I've, set my desires to, or like one I've, you know, fancy time with and such like that. But he just said that in such a kind of like, it felt like a tone where, when the skies talk to you, or like, you pray once in a time and like, you bless for things to come your way. It's almost like this dude was like an angel in disguise, but he was just in a form of a human talking to me, hitting my ears with like words that I love, like I needed to hear at that point in time and at that point in moment. It was just weird to me how he said those things, not in a weird where it's like it came off as like, yo, this guy's a weirdo, or like this dude, or like, what are you talking about? Like, just get away from my line or something, get away from my time. But it just felt like I wanted to talk to this individual throughout the whole day, kind of thing, and like it felt like he was reassuring me in a sense. The way he said it, and his tone of voice, his stature, his presence, like his movements, it felt like he was just really drawn to me. Like it felt like he was like, you should have children on this own and stuff like that. Like you'd be well off with just, you know, teaching your children the way of life, because he sensed it from me. Like it's like he knew I was one of the very few cool people, or like rare people that we need in this world or society or something like that. Everybody deserves to be here though. I'm not special, I'm not unique in a sense, right? We're all here, we're all divine, we all have purposes of our own to do this, to do that. I'm not trying to make this video out to say like, oh, I'm perfect or something like that. I'm just telling you something that happened within my life, within my time frame, and just maybe you guys can relate or something like that. But his voice always echoes throughout the whole day. Ever since I met this individual, those words just like linger on in my head. Your parents raised you right. Your parents will be sad, like, if you don't have children. Are you seeing anybody? Are you doing this? And are you doing? It's just like, dang. It's just like I'm a firm believer. If like things float my way, it'll float my way, and it'll rise. If there's opportunities in my way, I should be ever so blessed enough, grounded enough to just receive those blessings at hand. I would never want to flaunt it. I would never want to do this, do that. That's just a certain individual that I am. Like, I like to keep stuff hidden, not like weird stuff hidden, right? Just like those kind of things hidden, and then just keep it pushing, right? Keep it pushing, hidden, keep it pushing, hidden, blah, blah, blah. I don't really feel the need to go on social media or anything like that and like flaunt anything. If I were to ever have material possessions in my surprise, I would never want to show you guys that or anything like that. It's just, I'm just here to just maybe share some similar stories that you guys might relate to, if anything. This later on like kind of forwarded into his like kind of past, what he's experienced, he's endured. He's unfortunately lost his two set of parents along the way of life. I want to say he lost his significant other, his wife, due to a car incident, which is like really unfortunate. Like, I'll never have any moral respect of people who are under the influence and just hop behind the wheel, right? Because it affects a lot of people's lives. And for him to say something like that, and for him to say something so openly, blatantly, and he literally just met me the day of, and is literally talking to me like I was always his friend by his side. But that's just how I am and how I appear to individuals. Like, if you were to ever come across me, it's just like I'm treating you like a human. Like, I would want you to treat me like a human too, right? It's just cool talks, cool vibes, cool reassurance, cool this, that. And yeah. And then later on, he trickled down to saying like he was kind of physically doing ill. I think he's dealt with kidney stones and stuff like that, and which later on to him being diagnosed with stage, I don't know if it was stage 4 cancer or anything like cancer related, but for him to like still persevere, have a smile on his face, conversations, and wow, like, it's just sometimes I take the littlest things for granted. Like, I stress out about so much random stuff on this earth for no reason. And this man, let alone like he's endured a lot of sad, darkened times in his time, right? Like losing a significant other, losing two set of parents, potential friends along the way, right? I myself, like, I've experienced a passing, right? But I don't know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that a lot of people live a lot of different lives, and for him to say some stuff like that, like, to me, was just, it meant a lot, right? It meant the world almost. Him saying like your parents raised you right, it was so much love and respect for my parents, because they done everything that they can, every little dollar that they spent, raising not only myself but 3 older brothers to persevere, step into this world, and really fulfill a life that they've wanted for us. In a sense, they didn't really teach us our traditional languages. They didn't really force our cultural representation onto us as children. They just wanted us to kind of live the Canadian way, the English traditional route with things, and that's just how we were as people. But me and my brothers never forgot about our nationality, never forgot about our culture, never forgot where we came from and stuff like that. We always keep it at bay. Which, if you're ever donning a certain flag by your name, you should always be proud of the way of life, how you're living with people, like the ancestors you're making proud at this very moment. Your ancestors have paved the way for you, so it's only time and only a matter for you to really fulfill in that that space, that environment as well, to just connect with other individuals. How this is how the world is, right? Yeah, that's like another video for its own. I can drift off and talk about like some spiritual stuff or just like anything extraordinary. You guys may think of me like, yo, what is this dude talking about? Like he just thinks he's really big worded and stuff. But no, I'm just being me. I'm just honestly being me. But yeah, those kind of this person, this man, his words, it just stuck with me. It's just weird. It's like it, it's not like eating me up in a sense, but it's just reassuring me. Anytime that I'm feeling weary, obviously I got the Lord above me to keep me shining, to keep this beautiful smile of mine shining, to keep my crispy little melanin mango skin keep glistening from time to time. Uh, but his choice of words were just like really, it's just weird. Like I don't know how to draw a comparison to something, but it just feels like those Disney movies. When Raven has like a flashback, like the flashbacks that Raven has, but minus the flashbacks, just like the voice that I'm hearing. It's echoing all the time. This dude's kind of saying to me, and I hope he's doing well, because like he doesn't really have a phone or anything like that. He's just a sensei, right? It's just one of those senseis that just appear in life and you know to say cool things about you, cool talks, explain their stories, what they've seen in their life, the woman that they've slept with. He was going crazy with that. He was saying he was with like Playboy-esque girls and stuff like that. Which I'm just looking at this guy like, damn, like, I know that, like, I knew this guy was just not. He wasn't capping. He had that awesome. He had a nice looking beard. He had like slick back hair, some like greasy slick back John Travolta in his prime kind of type hair, or like on some, what's his name? Or the Marc Jacobs. You know how Marc Jacobs has a slick back hair? Like he had that like kind of glistening, oily kind of glistening, like I don't know, his hair like that on some like Joaquin Joker Phoenix freaking type hair. Awesome like beard. He just looked fly. I just already knew this dude was just fly in his prime, right? He still looked pretty like decent for his age. Like the way he was, the way I was just I never judge people off appearance, because that's just not my. I can't do that to people. I cannot judge you for who you are. That's up to the creator, right? Let him judge you. I can't judge you for how you look or what you're doing in life. But he just appeared cool, like just dope, rad, and I guess that's like another factor of why his words kind of played and kind of trickled down into my my everyday mind. But yeah, if you guys ever experienced a similar thing, I'd like to know down in the below too. Feel free to share if like you guys have ever had a cool talk with just the older generation, or just like the people who have seen Earth way before you, in a sense. And yeah, peace.